So we're back. We've reshuffled the room. We're playing Simply the Best because we're about to hear some pitches and ultimately find out who is simply the best. It's time for our first ever IGF Pitchers and Punters. Now, IGF is committed to promoting increased collaboration on technology and innovation between India and the UK. It's the first time ever that this IGF Pitchers and Punters has been done here, so this is very exciting for us. As part of this effort, we are offering this rare and exclusive opportunity for some of the most promising innovators and entrepreneurs to present their ideas, innovations, and solutions to some of the top Indian entrepreneurs and investors from the IGF's Founders Circle and core group of global leaders. Together, they have founded game-changing businesses. They've invested for years and years. In other words, they are seasoned entrepreneurs and business people. So before we get our pitchers on stage, they're eagerly waiting in the wings. I just want to say hi to our punters at the front. Say hi. Have you got a mic down here? Have you got a microphone? No. Can we just pop? Just want everyone to just say hello, introduce yourself, and maybe tell me what you're hoping to get out of this session.
I'm hoping to get a sensible pitch so we can put some money with it. Or we can.
That would be good.
Okay.
All right. Who else wants to grab the mic?
Hi, I'm Abhimanyu Munjal. I founded a lending business in India called FinCorp. We started 10 years back. We have about 10 million customers, $5 billion of assets, and we do about 6 loans a minute. And as a hobby, I do support a lot of young entrepreneurs like myself in terms of age. And we have a fund where where we do invest in a lot of startups back home in India and globally. So I'm really looking forward to hearing some new ideas, which I haven't heard before. They asked me to do the Tank and Shark, but the Tank and Shark was meant to be outside my business domain, and I really thought about it. Very difficult once you are stuck into something for 10 years to really get out and think something differently. So I really look forward to...
So you're more at home in this session. Yeah, okay. You know it's coming. The mic's coming to you.
Hi, I'm Gautam Shroff. I run Nuvama Wealth Management. We are one of the largest wealth managers back home in India. And I personally take care of the institutional equities, funnel a lot of public investments in India. And I do startup investing like a hobby and encourage a lot of new entrepreneurs. So that's a little bit about me.
And to the right. Oh, yes. Glad we've got some female representation. Yes, ladies.
So my name is Priya Guha. I've met many of you so far during the course of this week, but I have many hats across the tech and innovation ecosystem, including a couple of investor hats. And what am I looking for? I think I really want to see something that's going to build on the UK-India corridor. It's the theme of the week. So let's see who's got an idea that'll spark off that.
I like that.
Thank you, Priya. So hi, my name is Preeti Sawant. I'm a second-time entrepreneur, founder and CEO of Jules 2 Watts Business Solutions, India's second largest technology workforce solutions company, and the only woman to have the second largest one for the second time. The first one I created close to 9,500 people, sold, exited, listed. And on a personal capacity, I do investments primarily into talent, blockchain, cybersecurity, AI/ML, and currently in London to make 2 investments for my inorganic growth. Thank you so much.
Wow, you can see why they're in our punters front row, can't you? Thank you, guys. Thank you for those brilliant introductions. Right, do you want to meet the pitchers? Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to invite them all. They're going to take a seat and they're going to pitch one by one. So first up, we have Anshu Kotak and Asi Goel, co-founders of Prickly Bear. We have Michael Nakan, founder and CEO of Envision Entertainment. Anuj Gupta, founder of Green Van. And last but definitely not least, we have Robbie Johnston, founder of Hawkscore. Okay, sitting comfortably. No one wants to take the set as well. Okay, so this is how it's going to work. I'm going to invite a speaker, pitcher on stage, or they're already on stage, invite them to get off their seat, who will have 3 minutes to pitch their idea. And then there'll be 3 minutes on the clock for you guys to fire questions at them. It's all going to be very quick and succinct, right? Now, the idea here isn't to pitch for funding, but rather for advice, mentorship and experience on how they can scale their business globally and rapidly and get advice on their strategy and international expansion and their product, among other things. And with such an esteemed bunch of punters, I really think they will really value your insights. So do you want to know who's going first? We have Anshu. Okay, your 3 minutes begin now.
Thank you. So I'm Anshu, co-founder of Prickly Bear. There's my co-founder, Asi. Spent most of my career at Goldman Sachs, and then I became a mother of two and recognized a very real-world problem, which is screen time for kids today is totally broken. Do you know kids spend, on average, 4 to 6 hours a day on screens, riddled with ads, screen time is, and they spend very little time learning, and parents are super frustrated that their kids are building poor digital habits. So we at Prickly Bear have launched the world's first Learn and Earn network. So we encourage kids to learn across kids' screen time and earn rewards that they really care about. So Robux, V-Bucks, for those of you that have kids, whether your kids love Roblox and Fortnite, etc. We call it a network because we have multiple learning opportunities across screen time. So kids can learn in our games. We've launched the first Roblox Learn and Earn game that exists. We've partnered with Holland & Barrett, which is a wellness retailer. We've launched the world's first Learn and Earn healthy eating game. We've then partnered with edtechs like Drops, which is a language platform. They have 400 million users globally. So now kids can go to Drops, learn languages, and earn rewards. And the most exciting part, I think, is we now replace ads in games with eds. So learn and earn nuggets called eds. So imagine a kid is on YouTube watching a trending song, and instead of seeing an inappropriate ad sometimes that 8 to 12-year-olds see, they now see 15 seconds of a trivia. They answer the questions and they earn some rewards for that effort. We are now launching Prickly.ai next month, which is super exciting, which means that kids will be able to generate their own Learn and Earn games within 2 minutes. So they pick a topic they're really passionate about, create the game, they share that game, and other kids can then play it, learn from it, and earn rewards from that. So that really will spark our virality. In the UK, we've already had 400,000 kid downloads. We've got really strong retention numbers, and we are launching in the US next month with Prickly.ai. And I have 50 seconds left on the
I
clock.
wanted to hear the gong there. Okay, a brilliant solution for screen time there. I'm not going to say any more. I'm just going to hand over to you guys, the punters, for questions.
So who pays for the download? The kid pays for the download?
The parent subscription. So it's a parent subscription model. Parents pay, there's 3 tiers, and the more they pay, the more rewarded learning their kid gets access to.
So I was just going to make a sort of question/comment, which is, how are you looking at cultural divergency here? Because the social media regulation is emerging in very, very bifurcated cultural ways across the world.
Mm-hmm. So we actually partner on the side of regulation, we think. So we've partnered with a gaming studio, for example, Outfit 7. For those of you that don't know, they have 20 billion downloads globally. Games are under huge regulatory pressure when they're exposing kids to ads, and they actually see us as a positive brand image. So we've partnered with them to put ads in their games. They give us 70% off their currency because this is a partnership that they want. And the same with Quali, it's another gaming studio. So we're really excited to see that they want to partner with us as an almost kid stamp on the positive side of regulation.
Would you look at selling anything else to them?
Would we look at selling?
Selling any goods and services to the kids besides just...
So the kid can subscribe within the app, but we're very much parent-led. We target 8 to 12-year-olds, so it's not something that we would go out and sell to the kids. The difference between us and the edtechs is we provide that motivation. So we find our kids go to their parents and say, can you subscribe us to Prickly Bear? I can learn about my times tables and earn the Robux that I want. So that's the main difference between us and edtechs.
So I think it's a great business, and especially it's educative for the kid. And I, as a parent, I know how much my kids see, TV, or in fact, they go to a TV and start touching it.
Yeah.
And say this is not touch screen.
Yeah.
Right? It's amazing. But I think it's a great business also from a perspective of catching customers young.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So do you have a roadmap to say how do you, through the life cycle, monetize? Because soon they will. I remember I went to the Bay Area, and there's a company I saw was SoFi.
Mm-hmm.
They coined a term called Henry, high earning, not rich yet. And they said we'll start catering to them when they are rich.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good thought to say, how do I monetize this database of kids when they become
Yeah.
high earning?
So right
or
now,
consumers.
Yeah, so right now we're learn and earn. We target like 8 to 12-year-olds. And so again, I mentioned with Prickly AI, they can generate their own games and earn from that and almost build their own micro business. But we also think about create and earn. So we imagine university students creating content and earning from that. And we're partnering with JLR, for example, for 15, 16-year-olds to create like the first driving theory game for UK drivers to learn and earn from. So it's very much throughout the life cycle. We're just targeting the UK for 8 to 12. Now that we feel we've got that, we're opening up the ages.
How's the competitor landscape at this point of time?
Yeah, it's a good question. So we're the first. Was that my presentation gone?
You let them answer the question once the, yeah? Okay, all right, I won't be that cutthroat, you can go.
It depends what part. So if it's competing for screen time, then gaming companies, social media. If we're competing for learning, it's other ed techs. If we're competing for ed space in games, it's other ad networks like IronSource. But in terms of someone that amalgamates everything, we're the first of its kind.
Okay, a brilliant first pitch, setting the bar there, guys, no pressure. Brilliant questions from the punters. This is exactly what I wanted. On that note, Michael, you're up.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests from India, I'm Michael, the CEO of Envision Entertainment, a premium content company based in London. We're on a mission to discover the franchises of the future by embracing new technologies. My partner in the business is Harry Potter producer David Barron, and we're backed by Tetra Pak heir Magnus Rousing. Today, I'd like to ask each of you a simple question. Are you creative? Do you have a story in your mind? I bet you do. And I bet that you can see all of your characters in your mind's eye. Your hero, your villain, your love interest, your monster. But it can be hard to bring these characters to life using only words. I can even struggle as a writing major. So what if you could easily bring them to life and share stories with your global audience? What if everybody could, not just a storied few with the right degrees and access to Hollywood gatekeepers? Imagine the sheer quantity of untold stories with vast local appeal that could originate from the inner city of London or, on a much vaster scale, the rural villages of India. I'm here to tell you about my vision for Fable, a pioneering webcomics platform which will utilize new methods of creating and distributing content which will democratize the entertainment industry in the UK, India, and beyond. Have you heard of webtoons? They are vertical scroll comics that were invented in Korea and have taken Asia by storm, and they're increasingly gaining popularity in the US. Think of them like TikTok for comics. Most stories take less than a minute to read, and they're very relatable, come across with issues that Gen Z really care about. Several of Korea's top film and TV shows are based on webtoons. And international interest in webtoons is growing fast. The market is growing at a rate of 25% CAGR, and actually recently over 50% of Indians said that they would be interested in consuming webtoons in a recent survey. Fable will be the first Western entry into the fast-growing webtoon market. When we launch our app in November, we will have a three-pronged strategy for growth. Step one is licensing. We're going after beloved British comics such as the Beano in order to license and gain a collection for our launch. Step two is creation. We're creating new spin-offs of established media franchises like Peaky Blinders to bring in another set of audience members. But step three, and this is what I'm most excited about, is creating a toolkit for people to easily utilize new technologies such as generative AI in order to create and consume their own comics and distribute them locally amongst their friends. We will monetize the platform through advertising, premium content, and allowing creators to sell merchandise through the platform. In doing so, Fable will be both a content platform and a marketplace. We're a content company with contracts with the likes of Disney and Universal, so we're very sure we can do the content side. What we're really looking for is expertise on the technical side. So thank you so much.
I have a feeling you practiced that. You finished right on the nose. Okay, punters, I'm going to hand over to you. You know the drill.
And how do you get the users? How do you get the customers?
Through the use of the library content that we have. So we're partnering with very established UK publishers in the first instance with IPs like the Beano, Commando, etc. And we're going to bring their audiences onto the app.
So will that cost you?
Actually, interestingly, no. Within the kind of e-comics market, typically it's just a rev share model. So we're not doing a MG. The thing that does have a cost is that obviously within a conventional printed comic page, you have multiple panels that are laid out in a page format. What we need to do is create a vertical scroll version of those panels. So there is a cost associated with that, but we've developed technology to do that in a much more quicker way than doing that manually.
Where I'm lost is what are you solving for?
Well, I think what we're solving for is the fact that there isn't a platform available for people to easily consume Western style comics on their phones. Right now you still have to carry around large comics in order to read them or read them on tablets.
So there's a huge legitimate, shall we say, comic market. There's also a more nefarious comics market. And how will you ensure that what you are party to publishing and producing stays on the right side of that line, because you won't have necessarily oversight of the content that goes onto the comics you produce?
Well, in the first instance, of course, we'll be licensing existing content and creating our own content. So as content producers, we obviously will stay ensured that that is very strong quality stuff that doesn't err on that side of the line. When it comes to creating new content, we will basically, in the first instance, manually look through stuff and make sure that it isn't nefarious or anything. But over time, we want to build moderation tools to ensure that people can't actually use our tools to create, pornographic images or anything like that. But again, this is why we're coming now at this stage and looking to partner with people who have expertise in moderation and in social media elements, because that isn't our core focus as a business.
I mean, it's probably stating the obvious, but that's incredibly hard. No one's got that right yet.
Yeah. Well, I think that within the kind of confines of generative AI, as I understand it, you can set certain guardrails, right? So we would be very, very picky about what kind of prompts could be used within the app to create these types of images.
So what kind of unit economics does this have? Have you thought about how you're going to commercialize this and really make money? In India, you said you want to take this to India. So what do you expect an average Indian consumer to actually pay for this?
Well, I think it's a freemium product. That's the first thing to understand. It has to be available largely for free, and a lot of the content needs to be available for free. We will monetize that content through ads, first and foremost, but then also as we gain kind of super fans, as we gain people who really like our content, we will create premium content that is paid for, that people can conduct microtransactions for in order to buy. But then in the kind of long run, like I said during the pitch, we're very keen for it also to be a marketplace, so creators can set out their stalls on the app and actually sell their merchandise or their printed novels or whatever through the platform, and we will take a cut of those sales.
I can feel you're ready to ask another question. I'm going to have to say no. Time is up. I feel really cruel, but we've got to be fair. Another brilliant pitch. Thank you very much. And again, brilliant questions from you guys. Keeping them on your toes. Good grilling. Okay, you know what I'm going to say, don't you? Anuj, you are up.
Thank you.
Okay.
I have a few slides because I'm audio-visual. If Chris, somebody can put the slides on. It's a pleasure to be present amongst this august audience. And I want to thank Manoj and the team, lovely team at IGF, for giving us this opportunity. Green Van, an Amazon of services, a new reality powered by conversational AI. So it's a very simple concept where we send tradespeople like movers, electricians, plumbers, locksmiths to customers and small businesses across the UK. Next, please. So history has shown us that internet took shopping online, and Amazon was a great business case that got created. Mobile took taxi online, and we saw a $100 billion Uber business case. We know that the time has come when AI is going to take conversational consultative closure online, and I think that's the opportunity. We are not a marketplace, but we are a service provider where tradesmen either contract with us or work with us, because in order to provide stability to the customer and to the tradesman. It's a $1.7 trillion opportunity, 10 times the size of Uber. Also, it's highly fragmented with 87% fragmentation in the top 5 countries across the world. And I just want to go back to the slide. 170,000 establishments in this country have less than 3 employees. It's way more fragmented than the minicab market was. So today this industry is phone-based, where the customers close the jobs over the phone with John the plumber. And the challenge is, John is expensive John can only work 8 hours, has limited intelligence, is a single service provider, and can only handle 1 call at a time. We are shifting this industry from phone to chat using conversational AI. And what that does, it allows us, so we've built the world's most applied conversational chat engine, allowing us to replace the expensive specialist who was 42% of the transaction value and enable real-time consultative closure. As a result, we reduce the operating cost by 42%. We are available 24 hours. We can handle thousands of transactions at the same time, and we can offer multiple services, enabling in a 4 times CAC to LTV scenario. We are where you are. We don't expect you to download the app or go to the internet. We are on the Prime channel of WhatsApp to allow you the closure of finding a plumber in seconds. We believe in our assessment we are 18 months ahead of our nearest competitor. And that's because of the heterogeneity in the transactions. So we are a behind-the-wall technology company like Google because every transaction is unique, unlike Uber and Airbnb where there is a lot of homogeneity in the transactions. So it's difficult to plagiarize a model like ours. So we believe that everybody stands to win. Customers save time and money. Tradesmen double their income and their family time. Investors go with colossal returns. Government gets thousands of new jobs. Industry gets more transaction velocity and more access to immediacy. So we are a story of a large TAM, large margins, large scale, and deep moats. Just 2 slides more.
Oh, Anuj, got to be fair to everybody. 3 minutes is
And
up,
the last slide was that we see a future of services where you can book the way Amazon is for products, we are for services. Thank you.
These people come to me on the line. Do you notice how we really sped up towards the end? You couldn't see the timer, but I could. But brilliant nonetheless. Okay, punters, you know what I'm going to say.
I think there's more training about presentation than presentation. I'm feeling I'm getting with her around there.
So I think you said that I'm not a marketplace, but you know the competency building across all services. There would be 200, 300 plus services. Building that competency so you become the largest employer is going to be heavy capital business for the months. And then retention, and then those many salaries, and then the deliverables responsibility. Don't you think it's an extremely high risk?
Yeah, so just to quickly answer that, it's not 200 services, it's only 7 services because that's where the TAM is. It's a $120 billion market in the UK with about 80% of the TAM belonging to 7 services. And there is so much demand that tradesmen, because they double their income, they're really interested in being a part of our journey. And they double their family time, there's no idiosyncratic challenge in their life. They basically do what they do, we do the rest because technology allows us to process the whole transaction, removing the friction.
You know, I got really excited when I saw the AI bot, and I thought that you were replacing tradesmen to AI bots as much as you could. And when I saw a lot of tradesmen, I got really worried because you have the handies of the US, and you have a lot of what do you call it? There's an Indian version of this as well. Urban Clap, which is actually aggregating.
Last in US.
Handyman and stuff like that. So I think their model was to aggregate contractors because of this reason that she said.
Yeah, right? I'll answer that question. I know that question. So the point is simple. Okay. The point is very simple. Look, the time has come now. You couldn't have had people employed because you don't get the scope of the transaction right, because conversational AI allows you to scope the transaction. If I don't know the scope of work, how do I tell the time it's going to take at the customer's location and the next customer's location? So Urban Clap is 50 years behind conversational AI, and that's why the unit economics will never happen. We are delivering a 34% EBIT margin, so 5 times lifetime value.
Are you profitable or are you burning?
No, we are profitable in our unit economics. I mean,
as a company?
As a company, no. But because we basically got to go large in charge. We're going to be on TV, we're going to be outdoors. So
one of my mentors told me, and this is very important, top line is vanity, bottom line is sanity, cash at bank is reality.
Yeah.
And cash at bank is what gets valued and not top line.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but on a unit economics point, we're talking 34% EBIT margin, just to be absolutely clear. I mean, look, the time has come now for the first time to organize this industry where you can actually close the scope of work in the digital conversation. So it was not possible. That's why Handy, and that's why these companies are the way they are.
What are the entry barriers you think?
I mean, our moats. I mean, it's our intellectual property, it's our heterogeneity of the transaction, understanding the algorithm, how people communicate, what customers want, pricing of the transaction, understanding muscle time, sussing the scope of work. It's a lot of density across the platform. Thank you.
Brilliant. Pretty fast talk. I don't think anyone can talk as fast as me, but you can. Okay, Robbie, you know what you're up against? You know what to do? I'm going to leave the stage to you.
Hi, my name's Robbie, and I'm the MD and co-founder of Hawk. We have one aim, and that's to help people live better for longer. So how do we go about this? Well, I'm sure many of you are aware that in most developing and developed countries, chronic health conditions are causing healthcare costs to spiral. So these metabolic diseases, type 2 diabetes, strokes, cardiovascular disease, are causing problems, but they're preventable, and they're not necessarily going to be cured by a doctor and medicine. It's a societal issue that we need to address. So how do we go by addressing this monumental challenge? Well, with quite a simplistic approach. We provide a health score, much like a credit score, to individuals from 0 to 1,000, and we base it across 5 different pillars: mind, body, sleep, movement, and nutrition. And these 5 factors can all contribute to being metabolically healthy. So, how do we do this? The first thing we do is an online health assessment. Now, we've built this with large data studies, large population sample data for an initial score. This initial score gives you an idea of your health. We can then ratify this score in an in-person assessment, and it's not medical, it's non-clinical, but we're using the top sports science and health data we can to make this in-person health assessment. So you do things like a VO2 max test, the greatest barometer of long-term health. We do fasted blood glucose testing. We do a mental evaluation, a score, and a balance test, which you can all try out later, but I won't waste my last minute. So how do we go about this? Well, what this does is it gives us a coaching journey. This is the most important part. It's education. People need the education, and once you give them a score, you give them understanding, and we can help them on that path. So where are we now? We're doing this at a B2B and D2C level. We do it from a corporate well-being standpoint, and what we do is we go into organizations, and the first thing we do is 3 easy steps. First thing, we get to know their team, and we provide them with a score. We then implement strategies to help them become healthier as individuals, but also as communities. And lastly, we then help educate the leaders of the organization and update them on the progress that we make. So where are we heading? The corporate wellness market has a lot of relatability, but there's also the D2C market. A lot of people are interested in this right now. And we believe we can be the conduit between people who want to understand more about their health and how to access these services, and companies who want to advertise directly to them. So what we're looking for is advice, mentorship, and guidance around AI and tech.
I'll let you in those last few words there. Okay, another brilliant pitch. Okay, punters, for the final time, let's hear your questions.
So it may be the sort of Friday confessional moment, but I suspect there's a lot of us in this room who, when the doctor asks, how much do you drink in a week, don't necessarily give the right answer. So how are you going to make sure that actually the data using to base this score is actually truthful and accurate?
Yeah, that's why we have the 2 steps, because you're right, people will lie, they'll underestimate, they won't understand what a unit is. I mean, I don't know if I still do, or I'll always undercount. So that's why we have the 2nd step. So this is where we're not using it from a medical point of view, it's a lifestyle point of view. Because to an extent, some people will be honest, some people won't be honest. But there's a good enough data from that we can advise. Ultimately, most people know they shouldn't drink as much as they do. So whether they answer that or not, but understanding that that's where you might be falling down in a certain category, and then directing the right services to them is what we find is important. Yeah.
So what are you trying to solve? Who's your target audience?
Anyone who wants to, anyone really is the ultimate thing. It's most people want to live better and they want to live for longer, right? I mean, but you necessarily extending lifespan isn't possible, or maybe in a few years. We're talking about increasing health span. How long are you healthy for in your lived years? And people who are conscious of that. If we talk about our B2B market, I think it's people who want to understand what they're investing into their well-being spend. We give a metric, a score, a credit score of the employee well-being. And we can provide that at an anonymized and aggregated basis, and then provide content and a learning journey for a community, not just an individual.
In India, we have many of these kind of models, and in the B2B space, the B doesn't want to pay for it. And then he tries to charge the C for it, his employee or whatever. And then the employee doesn't want to pay for it either because, you know, it all got gifted fate in Italy's India. You die when you die. The other thing is, the only model where succeeded in India was someone who was selling insurance to the restaurant so that the main chef doesn't, you know, if something happens to me, you know, he gets paid for it. After 3 months, nothing went wrong. He never claimed insurance, so he stopped paying the insurance premium. So the problem is people don't value this. This is the problem, and I think the model is great. You can make it holistic. You can give nutrition. You can give exercise tips, the metabolic cycle. But somehow I just think your B2B customer doesn't value it, and the youthful C don't value it either. So who really pays is the question.
Yeah, we have different models where either compare. I'm conscious of the time. I'd say there is a generational shift in Gen X and Gen Z, taking up like their rates of interest in health and wellness is changing. And ultimately, one of our aims is to be like the glass door of a company where you advertise, this is what you get for working with us. You can be,
Okay, and on that final bell, I'm going to sit down for this one. We've reached the end of our pitching. Give it up for these guys. It's not easy coming on stage doing that in 3 minutes. Doing 4 very well polished pitches there. But I've got to ask you guys individually, one by one, which is your favourite? Which one stood out for you? No pressure.
I guess I would like to talk to you more.
Thank you.
Prickly one for Prickly Bear.
I'm going to go with Green Van.
Oh.
One for Green Van, all right.
I think I like your model, but I think you can upsell and sell a lot more. Other things like summer camps and toys and other things, but forget all that. You're at a different level. But I like that model because you can really go on the life journey with this young kid.
So you see the potential. I like that. Okay, my final 2.
Same, Prickly Bear. I think it's
about
Prickly Bear.
Getting the customer hooked on at a very young age.
Yes.
I like the name also. I like the name.
Yeah. And just so many parents who want to get that screen time right? And last but not least. Oh, Anshu as well. Okay, it's not over yet, folks. I'm going to ask the crowd as well. Okay, so I want a show of hands. So we've got Prickly Bear, as I'm sure you all know. We have Fable, Green Van, and Hawk. So first up, Prickly Bear. Show of hands. Whose favourite's that? Okay, got to take a mental note of this. Fable. Green Van. Oh. Hawk. Okay, I need to see Prickly Bear again. And Green Van. Oh, what do we think? Looks kind of neck and neck to me, but based on the, if I throw the punters' comments in as well, I think Prickly Bear takes the win. Now, I know there's no prize, but you've taken the knowledge even today that you were a fan favourite, and well done to everyone else. I know it's not easy coming up here, so thank you. You are simply the best. We love a bit of cheese, man. We love a bit of cheese.